Chapter 1108. What the hell's happening? Wilbur asked with a frown. Demi fiddled with a pen she was holding. Looks like someone's trying to come for me. Surely nobody would dare to do something like that in Mua Town, right? Wilbur was clearly in disbelief. Demi sneered. There are 4 main armed forces in North Manant, each of us with our own territory and businesses, but the conflicts have never stopped. This isn't the first time something like this has happened. Just then, the unknown armed man had made it up to the 5th floor, moving past guard after guard who tried to stop them. One of the men seemed particularly at ease in the midst of so many bullets, taking down his opponents like it was a walk in the park. On top of that, all of the men seemed to be unharmed under his lead. Wilbur looked on coldly. Things over here were a mess, and the territory each force was assigned was honestly not very big. They were, however, in the middle of nowhere, making them an easy target. Of course, attacking the headquarters of one of the main forces was a little too much. Were these people not wary of starting a huge war against the 2 opposing forces? Wilbur could not understand what they were thinking. Just then, the group of men had made it to the top floor of the building and were heading for Demi's office. The dozen elite guards were fully armed, taking their positions by the door, and were prepared to open fire. Just then, Wilbur said, "Let me handle them." Demi nodded. Wilbur turned to leave. Upon emerging from the office, he shot forward like a gust of wind. The group of men had just reached the top of the stairs, charging toward Wilbur as well. Wilbur ran headfirst into the group of men, and a spiritual sword emerged in his grasp. He swung the sword about wildly and kicked up fierce winds. As the winds howled relentlessly, a dozen of the men fell in the blink of an eye. The next second, however, the leader of the group let out a cry. 2 swords emerged in his hands as he stopped Wilbur, and a fierce battle broke out. All 3 swords collided and clashed, letting out explosive sounds that sent rampant spiritual energy rippling outward in the air. The elite leaker guards began their counterattack as well, firing back at the intruders with gusto. The intruders had the advantage of numbers, but the elite guards knew the place well enough, and it looked like both parties were evenly matched. The most intense battle was still the one happening between Wilbur and the assailant's leader. Both men's swords sliced through the air, roaring with spiritual flames. Cracks appeared in the pillars, walls, and even the floor from the immense power exerted by these 2 men. This leader seemed to at least be at mid-ambience level. He was also extremely skilled in combat, and the battle only grew more heated as time went on. About a minute into the battle, Wilbur was ready to go in for the kill. As long as he controlled his powers to be within peak ambience range, then there would be no problem with his cover. Just then, another figure appeared out of nowhere, tearing through the throng of leaker guards, taking down a few of them before barging into Demi's office. Wilbur let out a cry at the sigh. The sword he was holding flew out of his grasp as he hurled it toward the figure's back. He sent the opponent backward with a blow at the same time, leaping into the air toward Demi's office. The attack had been sharp and swift, bringing about a bone-chilling howl in the air. The figure could not help but stop mid-pursuit to block the incoming sword with a spiritual weapon of his own. Both blades shattered at the same time, surging into the air in the form of rampant spirit energy. The figure, who turned out to be a man, collapsed to the ground.